I want to go over just a real quick the Bilstein shock line for aftermarket. This is not everything they have, but this is the majority of the stuff that the consumer buys. So these are the 5100 here and the 5160 are for my 2017 Tundra. The middle one here is a TRD Pro shock off of a 4Runner, but for just argument's sake, I'm going to use that to show the differences between the three. Basically, all three of them feature a lot of the same things. You got zinc plating, 46 millimeters of diameter for the shock bodies on all three. 46 millimeters around like 1.8 to 1.9 inches in diameter. The zinc plating helps reduce corrosion on the shock bodies. So, start off with the 5100. 5100, great shock. I've ran these exact ones that we're looking at right now for about 10,000 miles. Ran no issues whatsoever. So, why am I replacing them? Well, the reason I'm replacing them with these are the 5160s, is because this truck runs a lot of payload off-road. With the rooftop tent, the canopy, the fridge, all the gear, probably between 500 and 1,000 pounds. On long off-road trips, it got to the point that if I went down and I put my hand on this shock, it would burn your hand. So that obviously not good, because when you heat up the oil, you're asking for seal failure. And you'll see oil coming down. Luckily, these ones had limited, basically, of those overheat times, and they still function just fine. I wanted to replace them before they failed. So why go with a remote reservoir? Because the remote reservoir, same 46 millimeter body, but you get an additional 46 millimeter canister here. Why that matters, you get additional oil capacity, so you have more oil change throughout the shock, more heat dissipation because you have more surface area on the shock with the remote reservoir. So you're basically going to be able to run longer, run cooler, and have better shock life and have better control over long trips. So just for fun, we threw in the TRD Pro shock. TRD Pro shock is basically built off of a 5160, but has a smaller remote reservoir and has a rubber hose for your remote reservoir instead of a steel braided hose. This is off of our 4Runner, so it's not exactly apples to apples, but nonetheless, it's good for argument's sake to at least show it. The 5160 and this TRD Pro shock are very similar. We ran these on our 4Runner, had absolutely no issues with them. So why did we pull these ones off and replace them with Icons? Well, the difference between an aftermarket shock like this 5100 and this 5160 and this TRD Pro is that this 5160 and 5100 are designed for rear lift, anywhere between 0 and 1.5 inches. What that means is if you were to fully articulate, those ones can accommodate the extra lift and let the axle drop additional amounts. So what would happen if you lifted a TRD Pro rear shock and lifted a TRD Pro and you utilize the rear shocks? Most likely you're not going to run into a problem. Where you could potentially run into the problem is that at full droop you could potentially be using the shock as the bottom out of your travel. You do not want to do that. That can easily lead to shock failure. So that's the main difference. All three of these are going to suit you well, but you really want to decide which one's the best for your needs. This is the best for your daily driver and for a weekend warrior that's going to be off-roading with limited payload responsibilities. The TRD Pro shock is an awesome shock to utilize, awesome factory fit. I highly recommend if you have a TRD Pro, keep them on there. Great shock all around. Where this falls short is when you go to modification, that you're going to run out of down travel. 5160. The 5160 is the only downside versus these two is the price point. This is approximately $70 more per shock than a 5100. The 5100's warranty is also longer than a 5160. My assumption is because they assume you're going to be running these harder. But this is an awesome shock to go with. For $350 for the rear axle, that's extremely competitive in the market. I don't think you can find a almost 2-inch remote reservoir shock for that price. So anyway, where this would basically be your shock choice, you're running payload, you're running extended off-road trips, or you're running faster off-road trips, this is going to be your shock to go to for your long-term durability that you're looking for. Anyway, like I said, all three of these shocks are great. I'm a really big Bilstein fan. I think they build really, really good equipment and they do it at a good price point, but every shock has a design limit and it's important to buy and use a shock that's going to properly function for you. So then the quick market and against the market. Why are these so competitively priced? Biggest downside. about the Bilsteins: non-rebuildable. So when these fail, they're done. So that's the one downside. On this truck, currently I'm running 5100s in the front, but I'm currently switching to actually sway away 2.5 inch coilovers that are rebuildable. So realistically, you know, for the price point, you could replace these things twice over and still probably be under the competitor's cost for a rebuildable version of this. But that's all about, you know, how often you use the truck. If you're out there hammering on this thing all the time, you're totally going to want to go for a rebuildable shock. With me, this truck I've owned for 2 years. I have 12,000 miles on it, and 5,000 of those is from one specific trip. And we also have a 4Runner that's lifted that we like to take out. So realistically, the rebuilding capability isn't huge for me. Would I like it? Yes. Is it worth double the price? No. But that's up for you to decide. And there's plenty of good shocks. Fox, Icon, Sway Away, Old Man Emu, they all have great positives, and every shock has some negatives. So it's great to shop the market. Anyway, like I said, so this is the Bilstein lineup for the average consumer typically. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll be getting more of these out. If you'd like to subscribe, we'll keep it up. Feel free to send us a message if you have any questions, or if you'd like to see any specific Toyota 4Runner, Tundra, Tacoma, or Lexus GX information or specific videos. Thanks.